We're back. Hello. Peggy, you want to flip that over a little bit? I said it this time.
You did. You did.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I'm Carol.
I'm Judy.
And I'm Peggy.
And this is number 80.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
80.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Sounds like
We're like,
old.
yeah, it's like D-Day.
Like,
Well, that's something
true.
I wanted
Yes,
to talk about for our
uh-huh.
banter, and that's
Right.
a good one to do for D-Day because we just had the 80th.
yeah. Well, when this
You
airs,
know.
it'll, yeah.
Well,
just recent-
that is true recently.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
For us, it was just yesterday.
Yeah, yes, it was. But, this is what happens,
Yeah.
Something I did read, and I would love your take on this one. Some states are trying to pass legislation for surgical castration for child sex offenders. And I want to know what you both think about that.
I think that's a slippery slope.
How about you?
Yeah,
It's a slippery slope.
I disagree completely. It's not going to do anything.
Thank
What
you.
people don't understand is that sexual predators, it's not about sex. It's
Exactly.
about
Yeah.
power. And this is, I used to work in this realm. I worked for many sex offender registry and met thousands of these people, men and women, unfortunately, and it's never about sex. It's always about power, and
Yeah.
I agree.
oftentimes they use a lot more than just their genitals. They've got hands,
Yep.
and so that's nothing. That's an ignorant backing. Whoever's backing that is very ignorant
Yep.
about what
That
sex crimes
is
are.
something from like 100 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Like we don't
Yeah.
do that's
No, exactly.
It's just
Yes.
something to appease the people that
Exactly.
are complaining. That's
Yeah.
just going to do nothing. Just like
No.
arming
Quiet.
teachers and putting more guns in school is going to do nothing. It's not solving the problem.
right.
Exactly.
No, it's not.
It's not
solving the
solving.
problem.
So it's just ignorant.
Right. And part of the
yeah.
article
then
did say
before you know it, then they'll be sterilizing women again,
Yeah.
and
it lacks
no.
evidence of effectiveness and concerns for wrongful convictions regarding racial bias.
Yeah.
So these are all things that play in it. So I wasn't
Yeah.
sure what your take was going to be on this.
Oh really? Oh,
I really
Yeah.
wasn't sure,
Oh.
but
Yeah.
that's how I feel.
She's a reasonable person.
Yes, she
Oh,
is.
thank you. I'm a reasonable and prudent person.
Anybody else have a topic or a word or anything? Or?
I don't think I have a word.
Oh, you're out of
No,
words.
I'm out of words.
Well,
We did all of
I
these
did just
words.
want to say, I didn't want to gloss over D-Day just a little
Oh,
bit,
right,
real
right.
quick.
Oh, yeah.
I just because I said, I really enjoyed seeing some of the news coverage.
That old man.
He passed.
What
it.
a no.
Yes.
Oh, because the one that was his,
Jacob or Jake somebody
He was interviewed on CBS
with
News.
Christiana.
Cristiano. Oh, I was thinking of a different one, but I did see that one.
Oh my God!
But
He was adorable.
Diaries are just so heroic. Their stories and so modest.
Mhm.
yes.
And there was the one you're thinking of. He was involved in that like decoy army where they had these blow up tanks and these blow up decoy equipment,
Yes,
which I
yes.
didn't know about.
Mhm.
I think there's a name for it. I'm just using
Yeah.
decoy, but that's essentially what they were. And they knew they were decoys. They knew they
Yeah.
were sitting ducks, but their job was to distract
Yeah.
Right.
the Germans to think that, hey, the army's moving this way,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and this way, and so that they would get bombed.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if he was the one because I didn't see it
he
from
was
the beginning.
interviewed by her.
Yeah. But he was so humble. And
Very.
he said, people keep on calling me a hero. I'm not a hero. I'm alive. I
Wow.
married.
That's him.
I
It's
had
the same guy.
children.
Yes.
I have grandchildren and great-grandchildren. These guys, they're the heroes. They
Right.
gave their lives so I could still be here.
Well, my sister-in-law Anne is there now. She's in
Yeah.
France.
Oh,
and,
wow.
she's been sending me pictures of her trip. Hi, Anne. And one of the things she didn't send me a picture of this, but she mentioned that she didn't go to Normandy, but she did go to Utah Beach, and they saw graves. She saw the
Omaha
grave.
Beach, you mean?
Omaha Beach.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was
My
like,
part,
I
yeah.
was like, oh,
I'm
really
thinking of
stupid.
something
I
else.
didn't
No,
know this.
Omaha. And she saw the graves of two Canadians, very young. I think she
yeah.
said they were like 18 and 19. And made her really think, she really enjoys history, like my husband does. My girls are big history buffs too. And, but it made her really reflect to say, she's wondering if anybody, they're so far away from home, and if any of their family ever had made the journey over there to see where they're laid.
Right.
Probably so many of them haven't.
Right.
Yeah.
But there was one who did die on the trip.
Yeah, I heard
Oh,
that.
I know, I heard that.
How heartbreaking was
Yeah.
that?
It was 102.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
long
listen,
life,
he
yeah.
gave it a good shot. He
Yeah.
tried to do it, so.
But anyway, just
But-
wanted to thank our heroes
Yeah,
thank
for
you.
Yes,
all of
definitely.
your service and,
Yeah.
for all of you who continue to serve. Thank you very much.
Yep,
Okay.
we agree.
Yeah.
I guess beverage time.
Are we
Yeah.
ready for
I
a
don't know what
beverage?
this is, Peggy.
I'm gonna make a bellini.
Oh, I
Ooh.
love bellinis.
Ooh,
Well,
let's keep it on the
Hand me your glass.
Well, I can't drink it.
Well, you can, because it has no alcohol in it.
Really? You're doing it on this one?
Yes.
Oh, you tricked me. I thought it
Well,
was
no,
that side.
I did order like the better kind. This I got in total one.
Merry Christmas!
So first I thought that we would taste what it tastes like without the peach nectar
Pour
in
it
it.
up.
Okay.
For
So
those
let's
of you
see.
who may
I
not
mean,
know,
I don't know.
I'm on a year-long no alcohol
It's very
challenge,
fizzy.
which is fine for me. But this is nice. Yay!
I hope
You
it's
just
good.
made her day.
I
You
know.
really
I knew I
did.
would. Oops. Sloppy.
Joe. Sloppy Joe. I had to say it. I had
You
to
didn't.
say it.
Sloppy pig.
Sloppy.
Okay, so let's taste what it tastes like. Just So
Well,
here's
to our beverage-
It smells like champagne.
let me smell.
I can't smell anything.
I smell.
Lacey, go lay down.
It smells to me like champagne. I think it tastes good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
This isn't as good as the one that I bought for Easter, but I couldn't remember which one it
Really?
was.
I would be fine with this. Really?
I don't like it.
That's okay.
More for you.
I think it's good.
I think it's
I think
great.
it's good.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna make a bellini now. Maybe you'll like it
Yay,
better.
thank you.
So let's see.
What is this
But
called?
I'm not a huge champagne.
And I have to taste
This
it.
is called
Oh, see, I love it.
almost zero dry. So it has 0.5% alcohol.
Okay.
It's what is dealcoholized? Process of removing most of the
Is this your
alcohol
glass?
from
Oh, yeah,
a
that's
wine with great care. They're very, very careful about it.
I think this is going to be big. I think a lot of people are going to start doing this.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna put a little more in. You're supposed to put
I'm
more,
just
but I
so
don't.
touched that you did this today. Thank
Aw,
you so much.
you're welcome.
Friends
I
support
watched a
friends.
whole video. I told you before, like the wine folly sommelier. Her name is Madeline Puckett. I always forget her name. She's very good. She did a whole tasting on alcohol-free wines
Wow.
because it's, she said 1 in 5 people in the United States don't drink.
Yeah.
Oh, what am I doing?
Just a minute.
That was funny.
That's no, there are so many people that don't drink or do want to do these
Yeah.
challenges. I mean, ever since Sober January has come about, that's a big thing. But now people are
And
expanding.
all
Like,
the mocktails.
I
and-
didn't just come up with this no alcohol for a year. I've seen people do this or heard it, and I said I could do that too. I think it's a nice challenge.
Yeah, well, let's try it.
Yes.
See how it tastes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I like it better if it's a Bellini.
Oh, see, I like
But
that.
see, I'm
Right.
not a champagne.
Oh, this is
Love it.
peach nectar. That's right.
Yeah.
That's what Bellini is.
Yeah.
Peach nectar.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could have pureed some peaches, and I said, I'm not
No,
doing
no,
that.
no.
That's not
No,
going to
yeah,
happen.
no.
And then I
That's
had
good.
peach schnapps upstairs, but I said, oh, that has alcohol in it. So I went to Christina's and I got peach nectar.
Oh,
So,
thank you. It's
so
delicious.
anyway.
I think it's great.
That's
Thank
It
you.
is refreshing. It's a nice, it is a
Mhm.
nice summer drink.
Yeah.
When we went to go see, the ladies finally got me into the city, and we went to go see Book of Mormon,
Yes, it
which
was
was
so
great.
much
And
fun.
we had dinner at Bryan Park Grill, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I had a mocktail there, which
Yes.
was
Uh-huh.
very good. It was called
very
a
pretty.
nojito.
Yeah.
It was very
And it
pretty.
was
Pretty
very
and
pretty,
very
yeah,
good.
yeah.
It was delicious.
And
Yeah.
Peggy and I had wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Surprise.
So anyway, I watched the video how they do it, and like they had this guy, these people, this company, they invented this machine, and the wine goes in it, and they're spinning cones, and it spins and it separates the wine, and it's really, you should watch it. It's
Yes.
called a spinning cone, and it's this big tall spinning cone, C-O-N-E.
Okay.
And it was pretty interesting to watch it, how they take the alcohol out of it. And in the process, some of the aroma is gone, but then they add the aroma back in because some clearer liquids come out. I don't pretend to really understand how it works, but so anyway, the wine contains less than 0.4% alcohol after going through a spinning cone technique. The wines are less aromatic, but then they add them back in. And then I told you 1 in 5 people don't drink.
Yeah.
But, it's on the rise, people who
Right,
don't
right.
drink. So
You're being
And,
blocked. I don't
it's-
like that you're blocked.
it's Hand on Heart is the name of the company.
Oh, I guess
And
I'll
I-
write
that's
that
right,
down.
you did
Yeah,
say that. Okay.
yeah, Hand on Heart.
I like that.
And they do deliver to New York. It's $15 a bottle.
That's not bad.
But then you're gonna pay like $30 to have it
For ship.
delivered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I ordered 3. I figured I might as well get my
Oh,
money.
Thank
it's
you.
worth.
That's so nice.
So and this is one that she tasted too. It was called N-O-N, and it was a cherry coffee wine. And she said you'd be surprised. A lot of wines do have that coffee in it, that
Okay.
coffee flavor. But she said it was the most unwine of the ones that she
It
tasted.
doesn't
so.
sound like something I would.
It sounds like,
probably
it sounds medicinal.
Yeah,
Or
like
something
cherry
like
coffee syrup or
Starbucks would
something.
have,
Yeah,
cherry coffee.
or Robitussin or cherry
Yeah,
coke.
yeah, that's what I thought of.
Yeah, but anyway, the ones that she really liked were Hand on Heart, that company. So,
I'm
so the
definitely
next
gonna
one
look
they
it up.
come, we'll do one.
How many wildflowers, Judy?
Well, because I haven't had anything, I'm gonna give us a 5.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it like a 2. I don't even like mimosas. I don't drink them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I prefer champagne on its own. I'd rather. I said, why do you have to? Add
Well,
things
dump
to
it out and have it. There's a whole
No,
bottle.
no.
Well,
I mean,
anyway,
I
you
will
should
drink
take
this.
this home.
I will take
Yeah.
it home. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're only giving it 2, because I'm giving it more. I'm giving it 3.
Oh, okay.
It's refreshing.
It is refreshing.
I mean, I like it better with the,
Yeah.
the
And you can
nectar.
drink this outside, and you're not going to get the effects of alcohol. So you
Yeah.
can drink that and just.
If I'm
enjoy it.
gonna drink fake wine, I want it to taste like wine. But this is nice, like for a brunch, because
Yes.
I don't day drink. I don't like
Yeah,
to.
I don't either.
You know,
Except for the podcast.
yeah. But
That is
if I
true.
go to a brunch, I prefer not having any alcohol. Like I'll have a Bloody Mary. Jessica always makes a picture, but she doesn't add the vodka if you
Oh.
want it. So I just have a virgin one because I like the taste of it, but I don't want vodka at 11 o'clock in the morning.
No, I
So,
agree with
yeah.
that, yeah.
So anyway,
That
But
sounds
anyway.
great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay, very
Yeah.
cool.
so now we're on for the book.
Oh, the book. I'm doing the book. Now, I read this a while ago. It is called Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Have you ever read anything?
I think I have.
You want to look? Because
Yeah.
inside there's a lot of books.
I know that his name.
Sounds
He's
very
got a
familiar.
lot of
Yeah,
books.
he does young adults. I think.
Does he?
I think
Okay.
so.
So this is this must be his newest one. It came out in 2023. The pictures are beautiful. The
I was just gonna
illustrations
say, yeah, the
of the
illustrations
book.
are pretty
And
nice.
this-
And
one
it's by
side,
Tor Publishing Group.
Oh, Taurus, great. I like their books.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've never read.
they do a lot of sci-fi and fantasy. And
Oh, sorry. I'm like
That's okay.
playing footsies with Carol and dear. So I categorize like a fantasy novel. You know, this
Right,
is.
right.
I was in Barnes and Noble when I saw it, and I picked it up really quickly on a whim. Can I just get the back cover for a second?
yeah, this is intriguing. Alcatraz versus the evil librarians.
Oh, yeah.
He does series.
Yeah, he's got a whole.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but it's a really long listing. So when I was on Barnes and Noble, they were having some sort of sale. When I got up to the register, she's like, "Oh, if you get another hardcover, it's like a discount." So I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'll run back and get it." So I did, and I grabbed one, and the cover caught me, but the back really caught me. And it says, "Dear readers, I started writing this in secret as a novel just for my wife. She urged me to share it with the world, and alongside 3 other secret novels with the support of readers worldwide, it grew into the biggest Kickstarter campaign of all time. I'm excited to present this first book to you at last, a different type of Brandon Sanderson story, one I wrote when there were no time constraints, no expectations, and no limits on my imagination. Come be part of the magic. Now, let me preface, I don't really normally read fantasy novels, but I was like, I have a collection of lots of different things, so I figured this will be good for when I'm in that mood. I can have something ready. So I was in the mood, and I picked it up, and I read it. So here you go, if you want to look at it again. The pictures inside are beautiful. So this deals with, so fantasy. It takes place on another planet completely. Okay. So it's not Earth, although the characters, I guess they're human-like. I really wasn't sure, but they're mostly human. There are some mythical creatures in there, like dragons, witches, right? There's magic too, as I say, magic. There's spells, but mainly, I think at the heart of it, this is a self-discovery story for Tress, who is the main character. She is simple, very pretty, but very content young woman. She is, she lives with her parents and her young brother. They live on this kind of rock, nothing much grows there, right? Oh. And there's a king that lives there, so it's not that big a place. They describe it as a rock, more like an island.
Right.
But she's content with her life. She has the same things every day. She's not really looking for something else until her love interest is taken away. His name is Charlie. I can't tell you how that goes. That'll be giving too much away. But she goes on an epic quest to try to rescue him, which is so uncharacteristic for her. Yeah. And so she has to leave this rock. She's got no survival skills, and the Emerald Sea is just one of seas. There's a lot of different seas on this planet, but these seas are not water. They're made of spores.
Oh, okay.
And that's where I find it got very strange for me at that point, because spores features really large in this novel, and it's kind of like gremlins. You can't get them wet.
Yeah.
Because then they grow and they become these crazy vines that will choke you, and different spores from different seas do different things, and so he goes into a lot of descriptions about the spores, and there's a lot of scenes about spores, and I kind of zoned out a little bit, so I'm probably, when they talked about spores, doesn't mean it's bad writing, because I did the same thing to John Irving when he talks about trees, and I love trees, but it's kind of enough now, Right. So, anyway, I just kind of found myself thinking, how are they not going to get these wet? They sweat, people sweat, and then when they talk, spit comes out of your mouth, so that's right, you just can't control that, and they do, but it didn't happen. Even under the most intense circumstances, when they think they're going to die, you think your sweat would come out, and then now you have these spores. So to me, that part, I found myself saying, oh, come on, there's got to be something there, but whatever. There's some other memorable characters, there's a talking rat who has a secret, although I figured it out. Okay, so sorry, Brandon. I knew that was coming. And then Fort, who I really liked, he was the cook of the ship. And when I pictured him, I always pictured him like Hagrid in a way, like from Harry Potter, that type of character. Although this guy was deaf, so he used a talking board.
So they were on a ship in the sea of spores. So they were on a ship, not having contact with the spores.
Well, she ends up becoming, and this won't give anything away, the spore, I forget the term they use, but the spore master. Where every ship needs a spore master, I think. It's probably not the right term.
Okay, so she could control.
Well, she had to learn that because, she had to be useful in order to stay on the ship. And nobody wants that job because they're so deadly, so... that's how she got, and I can't tell you more about that because that will give you more away. But anyway, it's narrated by this guy named Hoyt. Now, he had a spell placed on him by the same person who is holding Tress's love interest, right? And so we hear a lot of the consequences of what these spells do by him, but I don't think he really wrapped up too much like he tried to tie it up at the end, like
Yeah.
but I feel like I needed more
Mhm.
about that because the guy's talking to us the whole time. I would
Yeah.
have liked to learn a little more of the guy's backstory.
Right.
But anyway, with all that said, because for all I know, that could have been developed in other books.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
wow.
know what I'm saying? I don't
Mhm.
know. He's got a lot of other books.
A lot of his
Right.
books are series too.
This series,
Yeah.
and I think, I don't know if these characters are in, so I'm a novice. This was my first Brandon Sanderson
Yeah.
novel. I'm probably missing out on an awful lot, but
Yeah.
it was very easy to read. It was an entertaining story, you know.
Yeah.
And I wrote 3 to 3.5 stars. I gave
Oh,
it,
okay.
which I don't think is a bad review
No,
for it, but because I think people will really enjoy it, and I think, you know, obviously he's a very talented writer. He's got so many novels, and it's an interesting concept. I just got lost on this. How are those spores not getting wet all the time?
Yeah.
Like I really, and they drink tea out of cups, so.
But they're on a ship. They're not down with the spores.
That's what I'm confused
They're on
about.
but the spores move like waves, and then so it moves the ship along.
Yeah.
But there's storms. You know,
Well,
there are storms. So when rains come at summer, so that means that all the seas get all crazy and all the spores go nuts.
Okay.
Right. So then it's like that was a big problem when they saw that rains were coming.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh
Oh,
my goodness.
yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very interesting, but I just kept getting stuck on the spore.
Well, you know, maybe like sweat isn't enough. Wet.
No,
to-
any drop of
Oh,
water.
okay.
That's how he emphasized
You're
that.
Oh,
trying.
okay.
You're
I'm
trying.
trying to explain.
But you know, but again,
No, the fact that you try to read something different that you don't normally, because I'm like, should I try fantasy? And I've got so many books to read already now that I'm like, I can't even entertain that idea.
I like to mix things up.
No, I think
I
it's
do
great.
nonfiction history or you know, fiction.
No, you do. You definitely mix it up.
Adventures, like the last one was like an adventure story.
Right.
The one thing I have to say I don't really get into, and I really should do, is more mysteries. And well, I don't read romance.
No, I don't read romance.
But not that I have anything. You know, it's just never
Not-
been my forte.
Right,
but I
right.
should get it because, like, my
Yeah.
daughter and my husband, they love mysteries.
Right. Yeah.
And I just wasn't ever one, but I should
Jessica
try
likes
more.
them, but she
Yeah.
doesn't like detective ones. More like Tanya.
French.
Yeah, and you know things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but more. So
Oh, well, that's good.
my
Thank
review.
you. Thank you.
You are
Tress
welcome.
of the Emerald Sea.
Right.
There you
Yeah, I'm
go.
pretty sure he
Very
does
cool.
young adults. I know that we used to sell that.
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah,
to
I
me.
Right.
mean we had the books.
It didn't say in here if this was a young adult or not. I mean, maybe
I mean,
it is.
by the pictures and stuff,
It could
looks
be
it,
young
but,
adult.
You know.
You're right. I could have read it. It won't be the first time. I pick up young adult novels and read
Yeah, I
them.
do too.
The last one
That's
I loved was the girl with the blue coat. I think it was.
Oh.
That was really good.
Okay.
Anyway, so there you go.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's my turn for the topic, and I'm going to be talking about, now I had asked both Peggy and Judy prior to this if they'd heard of Project 2025, and they haven't, so I decided I'm going to be discussing Project 2025. But first, I want to say when T. Rump, I don't like to say his name, and ran in 2016, I really did not think he was going to win. I just thought, how could it possibly be that this man that we know, and when I say we, a lot of New Yorkers, people with brains, know that he was a con man. Like we heard about all the things, how he failed in his businesses. For instance, I remember, you probably remember this too, the Jones Beach restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
When that closed, he was going to make it a hotel and a restaurant, and it failed. It didn't even get off the ground.
He never got the permits for it.
But there was more than that because there's
Yeah.
a lot. I didn't write it all down, but yeah. And he also the Scotland golf course.
Mm-hmm.
He destroyed vast majority of the protected sand dunes. He bullied the locals. Like, he literally bullied the locals. He cut the water off this one family. It was on a documentary. They couldn't get water because he wanted to punish them because they were against this golf course. And they complained of sewage pollution, groundwater, and dune preservation rules that were being ignored or broken. So he was just ignoring the rules. And the golf course lost millions of dollars. Yet, this man succeeded in something, and that's helping the Republicans' agenda. And he wants to come back to finish the job, or they want him to come back to finish the job.
Is
And
it the Supreme Court?
this is the Project 2025, and it's, what it is, where are my
I feel like I
notes?
need a drum roll.
Yeah, really, it's like,
Is it on the back?
I had the page counting. Okay, so different organizations that are involved. So, I'll read this part. The far right has made public its plans for an ideal America if one of their allies wins the 2024 election in the 2025 presidential transition project. Project 2025 is spearheaded by the far right think tank Heritage Foundation
Oh, gosh,
Right.
I've heard of them.
and supported by more than 80 organizations, many well known for their extreme positions and for pushing hate and Christian nationalism. The authors and supporters of Project 2025 claim this plan will rescue the country from elite rule and woke cultural warriors. So, if you're not familiar with the Heritage Foundation, it's a nonprofit public policy research institute based in DC. It was founded in '73, and I'm thinking, I can see the guy that was the head of it now, I can't think of his name, but its mission is to formulate and promote conservative public policies based on the principles of free, this is the part that kills me, free enterprise, limited government, individual freedom, traditional American values, and a strong, oh, I cut that off, I don't know strong what. They're saying they want to limit government.
But
And
they're
I'm-
stepping on everybody's toes.
Yes,
Trying to control
it's-
everything.
It's the
That-
contradiction.
It is.
Go ahead, you were saying something.
But because it's mostly aimed at women.
Yeah, oh yeah. And so it's also known, so Project 25 has also the name the Presidential Transition Project. And the policies are fundamentally to reshape the U.S. federal government in the event of a Republican victory in the 2024 presidential election. Guys, you gotta vote. You gotta vote. And not for Trump, I'm sorry. Now, shh. It was established in 2022, and the project exists, oh, I've got to put my glasses on now. The project aims to recruit tens of thousands of conservatives to the District of Columbia to replace existing federal civil servants. This is their plan, whom Republicans characterize as part of the deep state, and to further the objectives of the next Republican president. It adopts a maximalist version of the unitary executive theory, a widely disputed interpretation of Article 2 of the Constitution of the United States, which asserts that the president has absolute power over the executive branch upon inauguration. These are all things that they're trying to get. It's in motion. I won't say they're trying. It's in motion. They recommend abolishing the Department of Education, which is something you had
I've
mentioned.
spoken about
Yep.
that.
Whose
Yeah.
programs would be either transferred to other government agencies or terminated. The Department of Education. Basic research would only be funded if it suits conservative principles.
Ignore.
Sophie, that's one of the dogs I'm
Jason's
taking
also
care of.
out there, that's why.
Oh, maybe we should let it, maybe we should just let her out. Could you just let her out? Sorry, folks. This is what it's like, being
No,
authentic.
she's weed whacking. I'm not letting her out.
Oh,
She'll
all right,
get in the way.
all right. Then we gotta make her stop. All right. So it's a threat to our democracy. No kidding, and we must treat it as such. That robust governing agenda bears the hallmarks of authoritarianism. It threatens American civil and human rights and our very democracy. This is no joke. Like I said, in 2016, I thought, oh, this is not going to happen. Trump can't win. And now it just goes to show you that I wasn't lackadaisical. I just was in shock that people thought that he was good for our country. It wants to create what would involve a fundamental reordering of our society. It would greatly enhance the executive branch's powers and impose on all Americans, policies favored by Christian nationalists regarding issues such as sexual health and reproductive rights, education, the family, and the role of religion in our society and government. It would strip rights protections from LGBTQ people, immigrants, women, and people of color. It would dismantle much of the federal government and replace our apolitical civil service with far-right partisans it already is training and anticipating a power shift. Now, I just want to make it very clear, this isn't being over dramatic. This is something that's and I encourage you to research it. Don't trust just what I'm telling you. Research this. It's Project 2025 and see all of that I'm telling you. Let's see. It would end attempts to enhance equity and racial justice throughout the government and shut down agencies that track progress on this front. Efforts to tackle issues such as climate change would be ended. That's it. And politicized research produced to back the project's views on environmental policy. The evils of transgenderism and women's health would take priority. And PBS NewsHour did a whole covering the story. There's a 1,000-page Project 2025 handbook and an army of Americans. The idea is to have the civic infrastructure in place on day one to commandeer, reshape, and do away with Republicans deride as the deep state bureaucracy, in part by firing as many as 50,000 federal workers. I mean, there's so much here. The goal is to avoid the pitfalls of Trump's first years in office, when the Republican president's team was ill-prepared. His cabinet nominees had trouble winning Senate confirmation, and policies were met with resistance by lawmakers, government workers, and even Trump's own appointees, who refused to bend or break protocol, and in some cases violate laws to achieve his goals. But they want to get rid of that now, so that they want yes men. He likes people.
Well, he already said he's going to put, only people that agree with him around him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He wants people to. He wants yes people.
Yep.
And that's.
And Rick Scott, not Rick Scott. Who's the guy who
I know
might be
him.
his
Yeah.
the black guy?
Scott.
Scott somebody.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. He said, no, well, Trump doesn't want yes men around him.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Are you kidding me? That's all he wanted. Even when he was in office the first time, if you didn't agree with him. I mean, I remember when he was even talking about COVID, and you could probably, and he's looking at, I forget the team there, and he's saying, you could probably put bleach through, and they wouldn't even correct him.
Nope.
He had a doctor.
Nod their heads, yep.
He had a doctor who even said he was the healthiest president ever. He's hyperbole in action, and it's scary as hell. And I'm reading this, and I'm like, okay, I can vote. What else can I do?
Well, you're doing something, I didn't know it had a name, but
Right.
this is something privately, and probably, that we've mentioned before, that there is something going on, more organized.
Sure.
And we talk about Handmaid's Tale all the time, but it's something that.
Yeah.
Just today, I think there was legislation, and I wish I would have had the story. I meant to say it, but legislation I think put forth this week about limiting contraceptives.
Contraceptives.
Yeah. IUDs. They said IUDs it's like abortion. It is not.
It's not.
And there was
Again,
IUDs,
ignorance making laws.
Yep.
Yeah.
and the abortion pill.
Was
Of course,
condoms
which
there?
really.
Were condoms there?
I don't
think,
know. Condoms,
because
anything that goes on
on
a
a
penis
penis.
is okay.
Right. But this is what we warned about before Roe versus Wade was overturned. We all talked about how it's the low hanging fruit, right? They're gonna then come for the birth control and everything has been saying has been happening.
Yeah.
It's
They're trying to pass it. They want to pass it. They have a bill.
this is just scary as shit. I'm sorry. It's so scary to think that, and it's saying that while many of the Project 2025 proposals are inspired by Trump, they are being echoed by rivals Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy, and they're gaining prominence among the Republicans. And you saw how they went after Fauci.
Oh,
It's
yes, that was
despicable.
disgusting.
It really is
They
disgusting.
should sanction her,
Oh
Marjorie
my
Taylor
God!
Greene. For
I know.
what
She
she
goes,
was.
and how could you when she said that to him? And you made children wear masks and stay indoors. How could you? And he was so calm.
I know.
He said because
he's a
5,000
gentleman.
people a day were dying
Yeah.
from it.
He's a gentleman, and she is not.
She's a
lady.
white trash. She's just
Um,
white trash.
But this is not new.
No.
Right.
They can publish this 1,000-page handbook. If you want to look where this has happened before, look to World War II. What started
Yep.
World War II? This is how that regime
Yep.
did this.
Yep.
And
Good point.
and we just have to know our history.
Yeah.
And
And they don't want us to learn our history.
well, because actually, the next book that I'll be reviewing deals with this. It's
Okay.
very interesting, and I feel, even though it was written in the early '40s, I feel that
mirrors.
it could be written
Yes,
today.
well, the early 40s was a very dangerous time in our history.
This is going to be a dangerous time, and so you don't have to listen to Carol. Again, I'm sure you can guess,
Look
but
it
I
up.
can't.
Just look up the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but look, history repeats itself, and that's what this organization is doing, and what they're trying to. And it's crazy that they're trying to turn the strongest nation in the world
Yeah.
into that, and and it's much more dangerous time too, because when I was thinking about this the other day, I said, look at what countries hold the strongest military. Well, we do. Russia, China. I said, these are all countries that are not
It's
democratic,
all
besides us,
totalitarian,
right now,
Yeah.
but for how long?
Yeah.
Right, and so if we lose democracy to go into something what, they're proposing, I said, then you're going to have the majority of the world, in fear of countries that don't rule by democracy.
Right.
And so, that part is really scary. And then, if you think, and people who vote for either way, you think that your way of life is going to continue. I mean, say goodbye to your 401ks, they'll seize control. Say goodbye to real estate, they'll seize control.
Yeah.
Right? So it's
And
your jobs.
they'll justify it one way or another.
Absolutely.
And these are the same people that are afraid of a little bit of socialism. How ironic. Are you kidding me?
Well, they are just full of contradictions. The whole thing is it just confuses me. It just disturbs me.
It's confounding.
And I hear people just, you got to save your money. We have gold, or we hide it in our house. So that's the same thinking that German people did too, and Jewish, not just Jewish people, but Germans, average German citizens. That's what this book is dealing with, and they go in and they just raid your house, and because they know people are hiding, and they just take it. I mean, and so it doesn't matter how much money you have; it's all going to be
Exactly. Well, that's I think that you need. I think that where are you going?
She's gonna hide her money.
She wants to run away. No, I would love to know your feedback, but I also hope that when you go to vote, you don't think, well, Biden's old.
Trump is old too. Keep that in mind.
But not only that, Biden is not dangerous.
That's right.
And we have
At least
to.
Biden is a good person.
Exactly.
I'm not going to take a position.
No,
I know
we
you
know.
can't.
We know that.
I
All
know.
right. Well, thank you for watching. That was number
Thank you.
80 under our belt.
Bye bye.
And the dogs. Sorry about the dogs barking, but that's always the case. Bye.